Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a new series that I will be conducting here. In this series, I will be going over some of the most insane shortcuts that have been done on bike race levels, the history of these shortcuts, and potential future progress that could happen. Today, in this first episode of the series, we will be talking about a level with a bit of an infamous history with different bikes. And that is going to be Desert 2-1, which is shown on screen right now. Now to start, there is two different main types of shortcuts on this course. The first shortcut goes over one of the bottom lines and under the other one to hook the final line, as shown here with the Ultra Bike. Now this shortcut has also been optimized and completed with the Thunder Phantom bike as well, with a little bit of a backup at the start. Now the second type of shortcut possible on this course has to deal with non-turbo ghost bikes. These bikes can actually go under both sets of lines at the end with a back flick, and then hook onto the final line at the end to complete the course, as shown here first with the Agile Soul, and then secondly with the regular ghost bike. Now while it is not that difficult to pull off these shortcuts with ghost bikes, it has long been speculated for many years if this would be possible with a specific type of bike, that being bikes with the Ahog ability and also the acrobatic ability, most notably the Acrobat Hog, or Ahog for short. Now, for many years, people have been wondering if it was possible to use the hog length and the acrobatic ability of this bike with enough speed to flick underneath the two lines at the end and dodge the final line at the end of the course, so that you would actually be able to skip a large portion of this course by simply going underneath the final two lines, vertical lines that is, without having to go over the top. Now, while this has been speculated for a long time, it has been long thought to be not possible. However, on August 21st, 2020, a similar shortcut to this was completed by me on this course with the Maniac bike, which is a little bit different than the regular Acrobat Hog bike. The thing that makes the Maniac bike special is that it includes not only the reverse ability, but also the zombie ability, also known as the unbreakable ability. Now, while this does not allow you to go through lines completely like the Ghost ability does, it does allow you to interact with lines without immediately dying and crashing the bike. Now, the nice part about this is that while you do still have to dodge the two vertical lines so that your head doesn't interact with it and bump into it, you can hook the final line at the end as you can with the Agile Soul and Ghost bike, as long as your head doesn't poke through the line. As shown here, I was able to get a nice front flick, dodge the two vertical lines, and then, by putting my front wheel underneath the final line and my back wheel above, I was able to hook the final line without dying because of the unbreakable ability. Now, while this cut is extremely difficult, it was manageable because you don't need as much speed as you would with the Acrobat Hog, because with the Acrobat Hog being breakable, you would have to completely dodge the final line and get enough height and speed to go over it completely. Whereas with the Maniac, you only needed to be able to get your back wheel over the line so that you could hook it. So with the Maniac, although you do need extremely precise movement, it is certainly fairly feasible that someone would be able to pull off this cut at some point. Now, after the video of this Maniac run was released on August 22nd, the next day, by the Maniac World Record Group, there was a little bit of talk and further speculation about the possibility of the shortcut indeed being possible with the regular acrobatic hog bike. Now, while this has been thought to be pretty unreasonable and thoroughly impossible for years, There was a few players who thought that based on the run that I showed with the Maniac bike, that this could actually indeed be possible with the regular Acrobat Hog bike. However, throughout much of the community, pretty reasonably, there is still a lot of suspicion and speculation as to if this was actually possible. Now, there is one difference besides the unbreakable component of the Maniac that actually makes the Acrobat Hog and the Maniac quite different in relation to this cut, and that would be the actual hitbox of the Maniac in relation to the Acrobat Hog. A unique feature with the Hog type of bikes that are breakable is that the visual hitbox does not line up with the actual hitbox of the bike. Because of the way that the image of the Hog bike is shifted down and to the left, the developers also moved the hitbox of the bike itself down and to the left, the head hitbox specifically. However, the place the hitbox was shifted to does not match up completely with the visual image of the Ahog bike, meaning that part of the head can go through lines without actually interacting with the hitbox and destroying the bike. Now, this certainly does not mean that you can hook onto the final line at the end, for as soon as the part of the head that contains the hitbox interacts with the final line, while trying to hook it, you'll die every single time, due to the nature of breakable bikes. However, this does mean that you can go slightly higher and get slightly more speed after the initial flick before the two vertical lines with the Acrobat Hog bike when compared to the Maniac. This is because while the Maniac's unbreakable, the whole entire head does contain a hitbox that does not destroy the bike but will still interact with lines and slow it down if the head runs into the line. However, with the Acrobat Hog bike, since there is a portion of the head of the bike that does not interact with lines because there is no hitbox there, you are able to go slightly higher and with precise, extremely precise movement, shift your hitbox of the bike so that only the visual part that does not contain a hitbox goes through the line and the actual hitbox is spared. However, even with this being said, pulling off the shortcut would require the most optimal conditions. You'd have to have just the right amount of speed before the flick, as well as a really great angle on the flick to maximize both height and distance, while also getting your head as close to the vertical lines as possible without actually hitting the real hitbox into the line. And through that, also making sure none of your wheels hit the vertical lines so that you maintain enough speed and height to get over the final line at the end. The funny part is, the shortcut is actually possible. To clarify, I do not think or believe the shortcut is possible, and I am not saying there's a high probability that the shortcut can be done. It is indeed possible, and I know this for a fact, because I have completed the shortcut. Being the first person to complete this shortcut with the Maniac bike, I surprised the bike race community and impressed even the most elite players, which, with all the shortcuts that have come out nowadays, is nothing surprising, but still, a breath of fresh air to the community and something that certainly they did not expect to be done. And now, I'm about to do the same, except with an even more difficult version of this shortcut. It is time. Oh my. I did it. That's crazy. Oliver literally used a mod with the hacked bike and I almost beat his time. And now, the years of myths and mysteries surrounding this shortcut have been dissolved for once. While all the odds were against us, it seems that the progressing skill and creativity of the bike race community has prevailed once again. With all the shortcut progress that has been made in just the last year, there is no telling what is to come in the future, and I'm excited to find out, and I'm excited for you as well, the community and the viewers, to find out as well as we progress through this journey, this series of the shortcut progressions of bike race. Thank you for watching.